All right, welcome second graders. So today you're going to think your teacher's crazy, but we are going to be painting. So before we start, I just kind of want to go over the materials that we are going to need and make sure that we have something similar to this, which will become a porcupine. Right now it looks like a weird rat type of creature. You'll also notice that mine is colored brown and outlined. So if you have not colored it brown, please do so. And you can go over the lines before you color if you haven't with the black, and then go over with the crayon. If you do the crayon first, permanent marker might not work and you might have to do the outlining with black crayon. So anyway, this is the picture of what will become our porcupine in our last project. And we are noticing that we don't have any quills. That is coming soon. So the next step, we're going to take that off to the side and we're going to bring in our tan paper. Okay, we're going to first need a black or brown crayon. I'm going to be using a black crayon. And then you want to find a toothpick of some kind or a pointier stick, something like that. And then something like a Q-tip. So something that will absorb the paint a little bit, but we're not using a brush. So something that will absorb, or for sure if you have one, a Q-tip, and then a toothpick or some type of stick. We're going to take those and put those off to the side, and then you'll also notice that I have my paint. Yours is in a nice little plastic container with a lid. I just put mine in a egg carton. Okay, step one, we are going to put a dot in the middle of our paper. Once we have the dot in the middle of our paper, we are going to do what's called a spiral design. And a spiral design is where we are going around in a circle, but never touching a line that we've already drawn. And each circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger until we are going off of our paper. Okay, so please watch this first. Don't do as I'm doing. The slower you go, the more control you have, and the more what we call consistent your lines are, meaning that the space in between each line is similar or the same. If you go fast, you don't have as much control in that. And this is just another way of getting you guys to learn one more thing and get one more thing from our curriculum in. But we want this whole thing to look almost like the slice of a tree trunk. So if you cut cut a tree down, you'll notice all the different years. Every single spiral is a different year on a tree. And so as I'm going around, my circle is getting bigger and bigger. Okay, you'll notice how important it is to hold the paper down with your other hand. And you'll notice it's a lot harder, to make these lines stay nice and close. A lot of you will end up going a little bit faster. Okay. Now, once we get close to the edge of the paper, that being the last time I'm going to be able to make a full circle, we have to go until we hit the edge of the paper and then stop. And what I like to do is I like to kind of almost hover over my table and continue that circle until I get to the other side. Some of us can just look at it and know where it would come in, but sometimes it's nice to take your finger and be like, oh, that's where it's going to start the next one. Okay, so I am going one row at a time, and with this one, you'll notice I'm just making lines now over here and over on the other side. Whoops. Now this one goes off the paper, and I got to go off the paper there, come back over. and done. So this whole piece of paper now has the spiral design in either black or brown. And now we're ready to paint. So this is the part where you're going to think I'm crazy. But I want you to first start out using the toothpick. Now, my toothpick has a round end and a pointy end. Most of yours are just going to have a pointy end. And so I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I'll show you that if yours does have a wider end, I would prefer you use that. You're going to be able to scoop more paint out. Okay, so this whole assignment is called Painting Without a Brush. And the reasoning behind it, so you'll see that I'm starting in the middle, and I'm going to slant it down. You can't really tell, but I've almost moved the whole toothpick very close to the paper. And I'm just going to go out in a circular design. What we want these little scrape lines where we go from a lot of paint to a little, like that. And then going back in and dipping and always kind of trying to start at the center. But we could also start here and go out. So we don't always have to start in the center circle there. Okay, and each time I make a couple lines, I want to turn my paper. So I want these lines to go out into the corners, out from the circle. So I'm able to kind of grab some of the thicker parts on here and grab some paint and put it out to the corner. And this is a look that you're not going to be able to get with a brush because it's a dragging effect. So I just broke my toothpick, but that's okay. So I'm going to do this all the way around, but I want to show you after you get all the way around, then I want you to use something that absorbs a little bit more paint and has a wider base. And so with that, we use the Q-tip. Now the Q-tip is going to hold more paint. It's going to give you a thicker line and a longer line usually, because that longer line is formed by holding more paint. Okay, again, remember that you're trying to turn your paper. Right, and we want to try to get all the way to the corners. This is tempera paint, so watch your clothes, but if it does get on it, it will come out as long as you wash it right away. Okay, so again, turning. This is one of the second graders that are in person that they did today. And so you see a lot more of the Q-tip look and a little bit right here of the stick. But it goes all the way out to the corners and it all kind of goes in that circular motion. So that is the end result, meaning that's what I want it to look kind of like when you're done. So here's my example. I would add a couple more lines, but it would go all the way around and it would go, I'd have lines even here in the corners. Okay. Good luck, everyone. There's not really a right or wrong way of doing it. There's just a way that I want you to try to do it. So try your best, and then we'll find out why your teacher, who you've probably thought has gone crazy, is asking you to make this and what we're going to do with it. So till next week. Bye, everyone.